the very first Finnish-Canadian grand festival that was held in Sudbury in 1940. So we go back a long ways, and we're made up of different organizations all across Canada. And we really want to thank you for navigating to this website, because in it you are going to find out all about Finn festivals past. You're going to find out about our history, all the organizations, and find the links to those organizations. And you're just going to help us celebrate. So also, you might stumble across one page on our website, which has got the donate button on it. And any proceeds from those donations will go to helping us make this website a real archive of all Finn festivals, past and future. And of course, a large percentage of those donations will also go to support the live 80th Finnish Canadian Grand Festival, which will be held in Sudbury in 2021. So thank you so much for your support, and don't forget to chat. And we really want to thank Trinity United for partnering with us on being able to produce this live stream. And we're so thrilled to have them as partners. And now we're going to start our program with O Canada, sung by Robyn Saxberg.
O Canada, okay. Our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command, car ton bras s'est porté l'épée, il s'est porté la croix. Ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Happy Juhannus. Thank you to the Finnish Canadian Cultural Association for finding a new and creative way to celebrate Juhannus. You know, as the Member of Parliament for Thunder Bay Superior North, I am thrilled to represent the Finnish population, the largest Finnish population outside of Finland per capita anywhere in the world. And every year, it's my honor to represent Thunder Bay and our incredible Finnish culture at the Finnish Embassy here in Ottawa. Every year, I speak about the kindness of the Finn people, their contributions to our community, to the social and economic fabric of Thunder Bay and the region. Happy Juhannus. I know it's been a challenging year for our community, but we will get through this together.
Welcome to our first virtual Juhannus event. I'm Teuvo Noponen. I'm going to be introducing the acts. Our first entertainer is going to be Mark Meriläinen. Mark was born in northern Manitoba and raised in the untamed beauty of northwestern Ontario. Mark knew from an early age he would perform music. The creator of the multi-award nominated Najuan project has come full circle with his new musical direction. From a Finnish and Ojibwe background, Mark has tried to embrace both culturally and musically.
Hi, my name is Mia Halonen.
And my name is Seppo Rantala, and we work here at the Embassy of Finland in Ottawa.
My fancy title is Coordinator of Public Diplomacy and Communications, and you have a fancy title too, don't you?
Oh, I don't know if it's fancy, but I'm a trade commissioner and I'm working with the Finnish companies helping them to export the Finnish technologies and the goods to Canada. And what is your daily work?
I work with building bridges between the two wonderful countries of Canada and Finland. Cultural bridges and cultural bridges. Let's call it that.
Yeah, and a very big cultural event is about to happen this weekend, and that's a Finnish Juhannus, the midsummer.
Yeah, I think it's probably as important to you Finnish Canadians as what it is to Finns. And at midsummer, Finns like to go to the summer cottage and spend time by the water and with the loved ones, friends and family.
Yeah. So and during this year, it is maybe a little bit harder actually to meet the relatives and the friends a little bit further away. For example, from Finland, but you may give the relatives and friends a call, having a WhatsApp call or something to connect.
Yeah, and now is a good time to plan your trip to Finland. Maybe not this year. This is a special summer, but please go and meet your 5.5 million cousins. They would love to see you. So, happy midsummer. Hyvää juhannusta.
Hyvää juhannusta ja terveisiä koko Ottavan suurlähetystön henkilöstöltä.
I want to thank Kelly Saxberg and the Finnish Canadian Cultural Federation for holding a Juhannus to replace the Finn Festival, which we've all come to look forward to so much here in Thunder Bay and across the country. Certainly the Finnish culture and music has become an important part of our culture here in Thunder Bay, and I am again very, very pleased that we're able to celebrate Juhannus with this great Finnish Canadian celebration. My thanks to all of you for the great work you put into making this happen. It's unfortunate we couldn't do it live and all be together, but this will be a wonderful, wonderful way to celebrate the Finnish Canadian culture, and I thank you all for doing this.
I also go by Tellukka. My ancestors were well versed in the magic of words. Words can harm, words can heal. And when words were sung, they were extremely powerful. The root of the Finnish word laula, which means to sing, is to exert a mystical and magical influence. The song I'd like to share with you is an itkuvirsi, or crying verse. This type of folk song was primarily a woman's genre, and it was a means to express the unexpressible. This song is called Oi Äiti, O Mother.
Summer Solstice by poet Carrie Richards. This was when the whole world measured time. This is when the light would turn around. This is where the past would come undone and the spinning earth would mark a new beginning. Let's go back in time to when it all began, to the breaking of new dawns where moments bright with fire would light the chanting song, where pagans worshipped sun and danced among the trees, wore strange masks of covered straw, and blessed cold ash with awe. Wreaths hung upon the door against all spirits dire, and when the winter's grasp let go, the sun reversed the pyre. This was when the whole world measured time. This is when the light would turn around, so that spring arrives, and seeds will sprout and grow. O radiant sun, stretch the day, shorten night, return earth's darkness into light. This is where the light will turn around, and this was where the past would come undone. That was Summer Solstice by poet Carrie Richards.
Hello, my dear friends in Thunder Bay. My name is Jaana, and I wish you happy Juhannus. Hyvää juhannusta teille kaikille. I am recording this video on the shore of the Lake Saimaa in South Karelia. As you may know, Saimaa is the biggest lake in Finland, and it takes only 336 Saimaas to fill your Lake Superior. So there is a difference between the Finnish and the Canadian big lakes. 1 year ago, from January to April 2019, I worked as a chair in Finnish studies at Lakehead University. My husband Jarvi and I, we have often discussed about the time we spent in Thunder Bay and people we met there. We have so many happy and heartwarming memories that we carry with us in our hearts, especially during the confidential research interviews you shared with me, your family life stories, your memories and plans for the future. I truly appreciate every interview and discussion I had with you. To all our friends in Thunder Bay, we wish you all are well, and we send you our warm greetings. You will always have a special place in our memories and in our hearts.
I'm going to read a poem from Mustapää's Tinsmith Lindblad, One Summer Night. And this is a work by Kyllikki Parkkari. Kyllikki Parkkari lived in Thunder Bay most of her adult life and was a poet in her own right. She had always wanted to do this particular series, which was dear to her heart, and she finished it just prior to her death, and was never able to see the work inside covers as she had always hoped to do. To this end, Canadian Suomi Foundation, of which she was the treasurer for over 30 years, decided to help this publication along, and very soon we're going to be able to enjoy this book in Finnish and English. One Summer Night. As you noticed, Lindblad, today the lilies of the valley bloom, and the rowan trees. So keep playing, Lindblad. Please play jubilantly on. And so, Lindblad, let her rip. Take it from an octave lower. Start your keys warbling merrily. Hey, pump the bellows mightily of your accordion. So play the vagabond waltz. So play in the castles of nobles. So play a lilting, cheerful tune. As you notice, Lindblad, it's June and a poignant wedding day. And so, Lindblad, let her rip. Yes, now they dance in their castles. Use bass for the force and murmur low. Use forte, Lindblad, piano, where the bride wears a crown today. And so bloom the lilies of the valley and the rowans. It's midsummer. And so a tragic passion you bear in your breast, Lindblad, where its fiery flame is burning deep. And so your song is over, Lindblad. Lay down next to your accordion. Put a stop to your empty dreams. Now the evening is sad, it seems. Go into your cottage to sleep.
Hi, I'm Lili Ahokas. Today I will play a couple of Sibelius piano pieces. First is Romance, Opus 24, number 9. Then The Spruce Tree, Opus 75, number 5. juhannusta. Happy Midsummer.
Hello, my name is Aappo Kähönen, and I'm very happy to be the next Finnish chair at Lakehead University in Thunder Bay, Ontario. I'm a university researcher and an adjunct professor here in Finland in the University of Helsinki. I've been doing research on Finnish-Russian relations, especially during the Cold War, and then after the disintegration of the Soviet Union, on the Finnish-Russian border, its construction and control from the viewpoint of state building. And yes, there is a good reason for me for coming into Thunder Bay. I like teaching about Finland, its history and society, for all interested. And also, I have a research project on the Finnish immigration to Ontario, its adaptation and challenges between 1900 and 1960, which I believe presents a good case of a larger process. And I'm sure Thunder Bay will offer me excellent sources and most excellent contacts with the local community. And I understand that you are now preparing for a summer festival, Juhannus Juhlat, there. And I'm here myself preparing also for summer vacation. I have a Metki cottage in eastern Finland, in Salmlinna, close to Lake Saimaa. And I will be wishing you all most warm and excellent Juhannus. And I am impatiently waiting to see you all in person during the autumn.
1, 2, 1.
Buju and Dinaway Maganaduk. That's Ojibwe for hello, my relatives. And the Buju part is the respectful greeting. It means it's what you say to somebody when you care about them and you think highly of them. And I meant to say Buju. I am Arne Vainio, Dr. Vainio, Ojibwe, and Finnish and Abe. So, and proud of both. When I was a little kid, my grandmother, who came from Finland, my grandparents both immigrated from Finland, and my grandfather was the typical angry Finnish man, and my grandmother was love, and she used to bake bread, and I'm still looking for that bread, and she used to take us berry picking, and she used to take us out in the middle of the summer, and she had a sauna, and when we were little kids, we'd be in there, and she'd come in and when I was 4 years old, and wash me up, and they had Vita or Vasta, depending on where you come from, in the sauna. And I have a friend, Steve Lepola, who sent in a cheek swab, and he says he's 110% Finnish. I haven't seen the papers, but I think about my Finnish heritage, and I think about my grandmother coming from Finland, and my grandfather, and they came here looking for a better life, and maybe they found it. They had a hard life. She always had a garden, but she would have been, to know that I became a physician would have been everything she wanted, and I'm happy to be that, and I'm happy to be that for her. Kiitos, everybody.
And thank you to Ivy Vainio for that last wonderful rendition. We go now to Miles Black. Miles' mother was Finnish, and his father was a guitarist. Miles grew up hearing plenty of music around the house. Musicians came and went. Jam sessions broke out. Black grew up wanting to play an instrument with his father. When he was 11 years old, he studied classic piano. 3 years later, he was performing in public. By the age of 18, he had worked as a bassist, guitarist, saxophonist, vocalist, film composer, music therapist, and a musical director for the Cast Theater Company. I hope you enjoy Miles Black.
I have a lot of Finnish music. I come from a very musical family, although it kind of skipped my generation, but you know, we always had music in the house, always. And Papa with his accordion and everything, you know, very musical. So music was a big part.
Yeah.
Finnish, old Finnish music that I listened to. People sometimes say, why do you listen to that old music? When I go to Finland, I look for old CDs and, you know, all the old stuff. And why are you buying that old music? Well, that's what I know.
Yes.
That's what I
Wonderful.
grew up listening to, so that was a really big part. And of course, all the foods that you grew up with, they're all special still.
Any immigrant are drawn to people of the same nationality to preserve
by
their
all
traditions and that.
means.
There's very few Finnish traditions I keep with my kids. One of them being piirakas, for Christmas and stuff like that. But
We have our own club, Keski-Pohjanmaan kerho, they call Middle Finland area, and where I come from. And we have a really nice place in by the lake. And
What
we
are you
have a
doing?
Juhannus dance, and
No, I want
we
this
have a
one.
kokko and
Okay, hold on.
whatever.
Can she see you?
And after that, those Juhannus and the whole summer, and we have something to do we swim and sauna,
How's that
and
now?
we have a race.
We would have Christmas Eve meal, which I think then was maksalaatikko and lanttulaatikko and all those, and ham. Cabbage rolls, all of those Finnish things, which I still try and do. So I still have all that Finnish, and I make pulla. That was one of those things that my mother did every week.
My husband and I, we have tried to let them know what their background is really deeply, that they remember.
The same goes that man doesn't know where he's going unless he knows where he comes from and where he's been. So, along with this old traditions,
Sä puhut siinä samassa. Sä puhut täällä samassa.
tells you
Etkö ymmärrä, se on
what
sama.
your mom and dad and
Voi hyvä nähdä, että ei
their
nyt onnistu.
parents and grandparents went through and what they experienced.
I think it's very important to leave culture to my children and grandchildren and show them what we had.
This is my father's tunic from the First World War, the 52nd Battalion.
That would be the number of years he was in the service. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right.
So each chevron meant 1 year's active service.
Right.
So he was in for 4 years.
And this means?
That would have been where his wound stripe was.
Oh.
It was a metal, brass piece of metal that went this length.
Okay.
That meant he got wounded in action.
Right.
And then again, the collar dogs meant what unit he was with. But what else is interesting is they've got the old leather buttons on it.
Right.
Most of the uniforms had the brass buttons on it with the British coat of arms. And if you look at your dad's picture, the uniforms were made with 7 buttons on it. So that you could tell that was an original Canadian uniform.
Oh, well, so why would he have 2 different ones?
He may have been wounded in that one.
The original buttons were the brass buttons, and he didn't like polishing them, and I guess they were allowed to change to leather buttons, and they would have been like this button then, with the crest on it.
But overall, for a uniform being over 100 years old,
Right.
It's in very good shape. If your grandkids ever seen the uniform, Granddad, you wore this thing?
And they've all tried it on,
Yes.
and they've all said, "You were so small."
Yeah, no, and actually, the majority of the soldiers were probably about your size.
Yeah.
You even look at the shoulders on them.
Exactly, yeah.
Scrawny kids from Canada.
Yeah.
And that's why the uniforms were so small.
Right, yeah. There was an article in the newspaper about someone in the States who wanted to get some information on the First World War. I received the questionnaire and I sat with my dad and asked him a bunch of questions, and it was very interesting talking to him because I had never heard my dad talk about the war at all. I guess a lot of people didn't want to talk about it, you know, and my mother was so surprised too. She listened into the whole conversation and she said she had never heard him speak about the war at all either, you know.
This is the whole battalion.
Right.
A, B, C, and if there's D company.
He might even be in there.
Well, he was probably in that one because that was taken in, 1915.
They all had their picture taken before they went overseas, just in case something happened while they were there and they were not able to come back. And that's why I still have my dad's picture. And he, one of the questions, was it all as you expected it to be? And nobody expected the war to be as bad as it was.
Well, they expected the war to end by Christmas.
I know.
And then basically 3.5 years later, it finally ended.
There were a lot of rats in the trenches. They'd put cheese on their bayonets, and when the rats came along, they'd blast them. And the only Germans he saw were 4 that had been captured by a patrol in no man's land. The question was, did you ever take part in a major assault? Only the 3rd Battalion of Ypres, when they had to help the
Canadian Mounted Rifles.
Okay, who were chased back by the Germans. They had no rifles ready. The whole battalion was scattered. My dad went next to a hedge filled with water and had to stay there because it was daylight. Sergeant Head and Corporal Williams were killed in a spot he was going to go in. When my dad was wounded, the wrong order was given. They were told to start at 6 p.m., but it was still light out. September 1916. The order should have been later, after dark. They knew it was part of an assault, but not such a big one. Oh, yeah, this is it. The Germans built a road called the Sunken Roads. Half of the battalion was wounded at 7 p.m. and lay in a shell hole until midnight. They had cigarettes with them, and they decided to smoke them all, just in case.
Well, you might as well.
Many men went past him. His only thought was of getting out, not if, but when. And he had no fear of being left there. He was carried in a sheet by 4 men, one carrying a white flag, to the closest dugout. And the next morning he was taken to a field hospital and then sent to England, to Oxford University. They were fighting for Canada, but also for their own survival. If he had to do it all over again, he probably would have. It does bring back memories. I even remember where we were sitting. Yeah, I was shocked by a lot that he did say. You know, it's pretty emotional.
We hope you are enjoying this virtual presentation of a Juhannus festival. You can watch it at worldwideweb.finfestivalcanada.com. We hope you support next year's festival. It's going to be done live at Sudbury. We're going to send out some special thank yous to Suomi Seura, who has always been very big in supporting our endeavors, whatever they are. Thank you to all the performers who have made the show possible, and to the organizers who made it happen. Our next performer is Olga Nechaparenko, Olga Väisänen. She's going to have 3 lovely, delightful pieces for us to enjoy. Following that, there will be about 10 more performers, and the day's activities will be finished off by a live presentation by Pastor Martti Hyhkö. So happy Juhannus, everybody.
Hello, I'm happily retired Raija Vuokentin, and all Finns want to go to the lake for the midsummer celebration, summer solstice celebration, and I have done it, and all Finns want to take a sauna at the lake, so I'm on my way to have my sauna. But first I wanted you to see my pride. Hey, look at the firewood that I have stacked with my own hands. Last summer this, and this spring the shed. And I made this vasta from silver birch. And this I will massage my back and my muscles in hot sauna. It does excellent. I followed my father's instructions, and that's why I'm wearing his jacket, at least 40 years old, to remember, make sure I remember his instructions. So, here I go. I hope you heard the waves, they soothe my soul. And here I go, here I go. The water, I carry the water, the laulu is hot, and my vasta is here. I'm going to have sauna. I wish you happy Juhannus. Hauskaa Juhannusta. Hey, hey!
Hey, hey. What are you doing, Tyler?
Trying to find a big waterfall that is looking really, I don't want to be negative, but I don't have high hopes, but we're in beautiful terrain here among good friends, so yeah, I think it's going to be a good day.
We were thinking of throwing the bikes off the waterfall when we find
That would be nice.
Yeah.
We're about 15 kilometers off the highway down a bush road. Says there's another road here, but I don't think so, so we're going to be bushwhacking it for several kilometers till we get to the river, Cypress River. Apparently there's a monster on there. I don't think many people have seen it. A lot of black flies. Probably can't tell on camera, but these bugs are quite out of control. How's the trek going so far?
I'm already so sweaty. These gators were like maybe a bad move. I do love the dry feet, but my legs are, yeah, the black flies really get me through here, eh?
Oh yeah, you're covered right now.
This pothole darts around all the rivers, but you are going.
But then we're going to end up walking down that creek.
Kind of terrain we're dealing with.
Wild cranberry thing.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. This has to be the biggest trek that I've done on foot. I think we've finally reached the river to it. It's a random boulder. We just had a mishap and lost one of the bags in the river. It's got quite a bit of stuff in it, so it's kind of intense. Fuck, that thing's gonna weigh 1,000 pounds. Can you hear that? After 10 kilometers of like insane bushwhacking, mosquitoes, losing a bag in the river, we're at the top. Man, I wish I could be more excited because of how epic this is, but I'm so tired. Tired of these bugs, and like it was a 10-kilometer bushwhack to get here. And now we gotta get back before sunset, so. We're heading back now. And it's just been up and down for some kilometers.
But we found the waterfall, which is a big win, so taste of victory in our mouths, we're gonna keep on going.
Trucking on. We must have done 18 to 20 kilometers with very rugged terrain, a lot of swamp, muskeg, some crazy elevation, just like rolling mountains. But at the end of the day, nobody's got those shots. It was so worth it. Super stoked. But man, it feels like I got hit by a truck.
The hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life. Hands down. Psychologically punishing, physically punishing. We're broken, but we're alive, and we got here and we saw something that like no one else has seen, and it was really, really cool.
It's an ass whopper, and it's a 2-day trip.
And we did it in one.
2 day in one. 2 for 1.
Hanna Snellman, you were at Lakehead in fall '87. You never celebrated Midsummer at Lakehead, but can you tell us what Midsummer means to you as a Finn, and in relation to what you think that what might be important about Midsummer to people living in Thunder Bay?
Hyvää juhannusta kaikille Thunder Bayssä ja Kanadassa. Midsummer is so important for us Finns. We always celebrate Midsummer. Whether you are in Finland or somewhere around the world, you do celebrate Midsummer. Myself, at the moment, I am in Häme, in the midst of Finland, and I'm in the middle of the best summer all. I'm by a lake, I'm within the nature and just doing nothing. I have gone to swimming and I've been to sauna. And two things which are extremely important in Finland for Midsummer. Sometimes it's extremely cold, but now it's almost 30 degrees Celsius, and this is perfect. Hyvää juhannusta.
Hello everyone, happy summer solstice. I'm gonna play for you my favorite song that I play every springtime. It's appropriate for solstice. I typically pick a favorite every season, and this by far is one I've played on my patio every spring. It's covered by Sandy Denny. It's called Who Knows Where the Time Goes. Don't mind my little kitten running around. Milo. can they know it's time for them to go? But I will still be here. I have no thought of leaving. I have no fear of time. Who knows where the time goes? Oh, who knows where the time goes? Where it sad, deserted shores, your fickle friends are leaving. But how can they know it's time for them to go? Oh, but I will still be here. I have no of leaving. I have no fear of time. Oh, who knows where the time goes? Oh, who knows where the time goes? Where it goes? But I am not alone. While my love is near me, oh, I know we'll be so until it's time to go. So calm the storms of winter, and then the birds in spring again. I do not count the time. Oh, who knows where the time goes? Oh, who knows where the time goes? Where it goes and it flows. I love you, Thunder Bay.
My name's Audrey Saxberg.
And my name's Dan Oldfield. And we're both individuals who have, as luck would have it, rolled into a Finnish family, if you will, right?
I was in my 20s before I met the Finnish community. I grew up as a child of English immigrants in Fort William,
And it was only when my late husband, Richard Saxberg, took me to meet his family that I became acquainted with a community that had a different history and a different language than the one that I was familiar with.
Yeah, and I was in my 50s, as a kid from southern Ontario. Till I married Barbara Saxberg, I was only vaguely aware of the existence of Finns in Canada. I was aware of it in the sense that I knew Thunder Bay was a sort of center for Finns in Canada.
The Saxberg family were very thoughtful and very considerate of the fact that I knew absolutely no Finnish. They all spoke English very well. When there were large groups of people consisting of their many Finnish friends, there would be a lot of Finnish spoken, but they were all very thoughtful and all tried their best to speak English for me. I now have a vocabulary of maybe 30 Finnish words, and I can generally understand the topic of a conversation, but I would have to say minä en puhu suomea.
Well, that's about 30 more than I know. I know about 3. And they really came in handy at my last visit to Finland. What's interesting about it, of course, is the Thunder Bay Finn and the Finnish Finn are not necessarily part and parcel of the same thing. There's certain aspects that you can see. When you're there, of course, you can see the similarities in geography. But there were lots of things that when I came up here, I thought, at least I started to think everything was Finn, right? In fact, I thought Persians were Finn. So I was soon put right by that. But what's interesting, of course, is Finnish pancakes, which seem to have a greater appeal to non-Finns than Finns in many cases. And you can't actually get them in Finland. You can get them in Thunder Bay, like Moika. You can get that in Thunder Bay, but you can't seem to get that in Helsinki. But it's interesting meeting people who are trying to keep the tradition going here in Thunder Bay, because they are very devout and very serious about it.
When my husband and I visited Finland, we were very much impressed by the terrain, which is so similar to that of northern Ontario. So many lakes, so many rivers, and so much bush. Mm-hmm. And the people were so accepting and so pleasant and polite. All tried very hard to accommodate my lack of Finnish.
But overall, they're an odd bunch.
They are an odd bunch. You get used to that.
Yeah, we being married to Finns, we have learned
to accommodate this.
How they are, how quite odd they are,
and to expect a certain oddness.
Yes, yeah. They're proud of their oddness, actually.
I think so.
I find, which makes them kind of charming.
I think so. I think you and I are probably taking on a certain oddness too.
We are. It's bound to that oddness is bound to rub off.
That's right.
But generally speaking, we would say, I think you would agree, that our Finnish experience
has been excellent.
Yeah.
I think that I am very lucky to have come across the Finnish community when I was in my 20s. Yeah. It would have been a great loss if I had not.
Probably the world could use more Finns.
I would think so. They are, after all, one of the happiest nations.
So, to our Finnish friends and our Finnish family.
Hauska Juhannus. Whatever.
Easy for you to say. Happy summer solstice.
Do you think we did all? What do you think of us as a comedy team?
We may not be allowed on Bay Street anymore.
I think we should go on as a comedy team.
That's right.
Stand-up comedy, you and me.
Welcome to Superior Country. We're at the center of Canada and along the world's largest freshwater lake. A region surrounded by astounding natural beauty and wonder. Located in northwestern Ontario, Superior Country is a tourism region that offers something for everyone. Spanning from Atikokan to this side of White River and up north to include Armstrong and Greenstone. Superior Country's goal is to continually promote the Northwest Ontario region as a travel destination. The frontline staff at travel information centers and businesses are essential in helping to promote the region as a superior destination with superior experiences, adventures, attractions, and so much more. Through your efforts, we can ensure that Superior Country is at the top of every traveler's mind. Experience the heart of Ontario. Experience Superior Country.
You know, when people ask you what nationality you are, I'd learn Finnish, and then I'll change it to Finnish Canadian or Canadian Finnish. So it does mean a lot to me.
I know I'm not a Finn anymore, even if I have a Finnish passport. You know, why do I need a Finnish passport? But I do have one. But Finnish Canadian, I guess I'm part of all the other Finnish Canadians in Canada, and I have a connection that way.
I still in a more in a Finn, but I'm in a Canadian. And because it's I speak in we always speak in a Finn in the home.
I feel very lucky that I can speak both languages, that I can go visit, I can live here freely, and I can go to Finland whenever I want. I think it's a freedom that a lot of people don't have.
I was born a Finn, but I live now in Canada, so I have to be a Canadian.
I'm gonna be Finn. I'm gonna be Finn, yeah. I'm Finn. Even I've been here, I was 24 years in Finland. I've been here in North America 26 years, coming in September. I'm Finn.
Yes, I would say I'm Finnish. I always qualify it by saying I was born in Finland, but I'm a Canadian now. So yeah, I definitely let them know where I come from and who I am.
I think I'm more Canadian. I'm in a Finn because you when you come that young, you know, you are so. You left everything behind there, and it's in a different. And now you are here, and you grow up with this, and I think you are more Canadian than you are in a Finn.
Yeah, well, we still even live in Canada, but you like to keep your own roots, you know, and it's like I was happy to. Actually, I'm happy always been living here because I feel that Finland is a country where I'm born and I want to keep my old traditions and my roots, but I'm happy in Canada because this is my homeland now. You know, I've been here, my goodness, almost 60 years. So this is my home, and then so I have two countries.
Well, Good Friday, and sun has been shining all week, so I hope you've been doing fine. I'm just gonna do a little ditty on my electric guitar, kind of a jazzy thing. So, basically, it's a kind of a swing jazz song. Basically in the key of A minor. Here we go.
welcome back. Tervetuloa and hauska Juhannus. And thank you so much for joining us on our very first virtual Juhannus presentation. I think we'll all be relieved to get back to normal and have a real Finn festival next year in Sudbury. Thank you so much for watching us and have a wonderful day. Bye.